All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Full Speed Impulse. And today's video is a little bit different than our normal type of content, but we're making something really fun, and we wanted to join you guys with us on all that on the project that we're doing. It's going to probably take us about a month or so. We're just going to try to knock out a little bit every week. So you'll see as this video progresses, I might be wearing a different shirt, different sweatshirt, hat, whatever. But about a month or so, we're going to get this thing dialed in, but I want to make it just a one long video, so you guys don't have to keep on coming back for part 1, 2, 3, 4, blah, blah, blah. So if you're thinking about making a smudge pot, stay tuned because this is the video for you, and we're going to get this thing figured out. All right, since we don't have an actual welding table and we just got these new shelves in here, this guy's kind of chilling, just ready to probably go to the back garage or something like that. But for right now, it's going to work out pretty good for us to weld on our side plates and all that. So the idea for our smudge pot is that we're going to have 4 walls like this, and then we want to kind of build an angle going upwards up to what we're going to call the chute, being the main pipe that goes upward. And after we get this main part done here, we'll cut out a spot for your vent, for where you fill all the fluid up and all that. And when it kind of looks like it's kind of like a charcoal grill setup, to where you want like it to be closed, like a full close, a half vent, and then a fully open. So we'll make some type of device there so we can control the temp, I would assume, of the smudge pot. We've actually never seen one in person. We've seen some cool videos, so we figured, hey, why not make a smudge pot? So it could go horribly wrong, so who knows? And if you don't know, a smudge pot burns off of diesel or oil or a little bit of both. I'm not quite sure if it burns off kerosene, or maybe people just at the time thought burning kerosene was too expensive, but nowadays it's the same price. So we're going to look into maybe burning kerosene and being a little bit cleaner. But either way, first things first, we got to get these walls tacked up. So we're going to use this angle here on the shelving because it lines us up really nice. So that way we could just tack in our welds here and get all 4 corners up. And then after that, we can look into mocking up our next pieces. And as we're doing all that stuff, we'll have to fully weld this in and test and make sure it does not leak, because we cannot have any fluid escaping this thing. And I know right now you're just looking at flat pieces of steel and you don't know what you're really looking at. But once we start getting some structure going on here, I'm sure you guys will be just as excited as I am. Right now is we kind of want to hit different spots on this, so if we do get any type of heat warping, it'll kind of help with our measurements. We want to try to get whatever's going to heat warp right now, we want it to do it, just so when we're measuring up our next pieces here, it'll help give us just a little bit better measurement, and the less gaps we have to try to fill, the better. All right, so that's what we got done so far. We got a little welding pretty much all the way around, try to help with warpage and all that. And even like little stuff like this, we got a little bit of an edge, which is no big deal. This thing's going to be far from perfect when it's done. It's not what it's meant to be. It's not supposed to look perfect. And we could just grind that flush, or when we put a weld down here, it'll clean it up. Whatever we choose to do. But this is the initial part here. So our next step will be building the walls and all that. All right, so we're going to get those cut, and then we'll be right back. right, so we got the Smudge Pot all welded up on the inside. We're gonna do our water test, and hopefully it doesn't leak. It's a little pool. Brother, what? A little dampness right here. So I get not bad leaks, no? Right up. Oh! It's exactly how that's supposed to work. You don't know at this point, like if it's trickling down in this crack. But we could always weld from the outside too. I didn't really want to have to go that route if I didn't have to. Right here. I bet you it's coming right out of that corner. But we got a danger zone through here. Everyone, so far, the Smudge Pot is going really well. We did our first water test, as you've seen, and we went back and ended up patching some spots up. So now things are really starting not to look too pretty, but we definitely got a little clumsy. There's so much welding here for us to do for what we consider a lot of welding. And we got a little clumsy on spots, but I think it's gonna work out pretty well still. We end up measuring our pieces that we're gonna cut here. And we got one vise down on the table right now, and we're going to start cutting these off and mocking stuff up. All right, but as soon as we get those pieces cut, we're gonna do one more water test just to see how it's doing. We're not gonna be too concerned if there's just a little bit coming from one spot or another, because we're probably gonna end up welding a little bit from the outside. Doesn't look like much still, but we are definitely making some progress. All right, well, we got all our pieces cut, and like always, guys, a little safety goes a long way, because nobody likes going to the hospital with a piece of metal in their eye. That's why we always wear something to protect our eyes, whether it's a face shield or just some good old goggles, man. It doesn't take 2 seconds. You ain't gonna lose any cool points. And you tell you what, man, it saves you a couple dollars too in your wallet. You end up getting that piece of metal in your eye. All right, so there's our pieces there. It came out pretty good. We got some pretty good cuts. For using our cutting wheel, I mean, that's not too shabby. So obviously we cleaned it up with a little buffer pad a little bit. And so the next step will be getting this mocked up and getting it tacked in. So we're gonna have to find a way to space these up, because I'll show you how one goes. So this would be the idea of like that. So we gotta weld all 4 in, and that will be how the Smudge Pot, and it's gonna really start taking shape too. And there's gonna be gaps. Man, see, I can't even hold it. Yeah, see? So that's kind of, it's like, oop, there's a gap right there. We're going to be filling that in with weld. All right, we've been really putting some time in on this thing, and it is coming out pretty good, guys. Like I've probably stated before, I'm no professional welder, but you know what? We're getting the job done, and we're gonna make sure that this thing is gonna hold together for us. So right here, we had a huge gap. So that's why you see probably in the video, we had a bunch of shenanigans, how we were filling it. Had to put another big bead on it, and we're splattering. We're getting really low on argon. So we're gonna be, that's gonna be becoming an issue here pretty soon. And then the other thing was affecting our welding was our tip was clogged up, and we didn't realize it. But, woo, she's low. So we got our old chute over here, or our chimney, or whatever you wanna call it. We're gonna call that the old chimney. Yeah, buddy. So, got this sucker bent and all that. Man, I tell you what, we couldn't get as far as we could if it wasn't for one of our buddies with this machine shop hooking us up. So Definitely makes part of this job a little bit easier, guys, for sure. If you guys are thinking about building one yourself, there are other methods. Obviously, just buying exhaust pipe, stuff like that, or circular pipe will be the easiest route. I love the square look, though. Just gives it a really industrial style look. And we got some more goodies and all that. We spotted at Menards, actually, where they're shopping, just getting some spool for this thing. And then we came up with a great idea for the little excess like vacuum pipe or whatever on the side. So this is going to look pretty darn sweet. So then we got to put a filler cap on here so we can fill it up. And then we got that little charcoal thing too to still do. But definitely coming together a lot faster, but we'll see. We still got some obstacles to do. And right now we're going to go tackle this, get this tacked up and see how she looks on top. And I am pumped. Once I see that, guys, that is going to be a whole new step. So let's get at it. Holy cow, guys. What an absolute beast. Like, this thing is going to be so cool. I know it looks really tall, and it's about 6 foot, but I have a lot of tall friends and all that, and I didn't want it to be so low to where they're burning their face off. So I think once we set it on the ground, it'd be like, wow, that's perfect. It almost looks like maybe we could have went just maybe a little bit taller on the base and maybe a little shorter on the chute by, I know we're talking inches here, but I think it's good. And you'd be surprised on how much fluid this thing holds, because we did about a half a gallon when we did the leak test, and you guys seen it, like we barely came to here. Like we weren't even halfway on that thing. So I guarantee that even up just to this part right here, that's 5 gallons for sure. So, and that's going to be plenty. And that's where we'll put like our filler neck, like right here, just so when we're filling it, we won't really get past this point too much, because I don't want to really fill it past this point to test these welds here, even though we're going to double check and make sure everything is leak proof. But yeah, anyways, we don't want it to be suffocating up here, because this area here is supposed to be how everything, as far as burns, how it circulates, blah, blah, blah. We're going to have our little slider here and everything, like I said before. And man, you guys, this isn't even, like, this is just starting to look cool, but wait till we really get at it. All right, everyone, we got our Smudge Pot outside. We're going to do our second water test and check our seals, make sure everything's good. And if it's not, we're going to probably be just welding on the outside now to finish it off. But we took it outside just so we can easily pour it, because we're going to put a full 5 gallons in there and see where it fills up, because we don't want to fill up past this line here. So we see we got our filler cap installed now. And the reason why we left the neck on here is because we want to fill it all the way to this line. And if I were to sunk this in there, then it would be submerged in the fuel. And I want to be able to pop this open for a quick air release to kind of get it primed up and get it hot. And then I can close this up and then use my vent system here. So that's the reason why we end up leaving the neck on there. It's crazy. We're not expecting that. But if you look in there, I'm going to dip my phone down in here. Look at that. It's like at the halfway mark. That's 5 gallons. We could probably hold almost 10 gallons in there and be at the line. That's crazy, but that's good. That means we have plenty of air, which means when we get the vents in here and all that, we're gonna have a really good combustion chamber, I think, to where it's gonna really get hot. All right, guys, well, it's not the prettiest welds on this thing, but she is sealing up. So the only thing we have to do, which we're gonna do anyways, it looks like we have just a little leak right here. So we're just going to clean this up anyways, because that's what we've been doing on all our other spots here. Just running a really thin bead of weld, not getting crazy. Like just right here, we just did a real thin bead. and good to go. So now, our next thing we're gonna work on is our vent now. And then after that, we'll be able to put our chimney on, and then with our secondary stack or tube, you wanna call it, and we'll be good to go. All right, so we drilled out a hole there, and we ended up putting a nut, welded it, polished her up now, so she's flat. And then we got our little thing here we found in the garbage, like I said. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 3 washers stacked in there. We're gonna weld those solid in there. Then we're gonna polish it again. And then that way we'll be able to zip a bolt on there. And then we're gonna heat this up a lot. So we can bend that at a 90 and then put a porker spring on the end of it. And that's gonna be our setup for our little air vent control. And like I told you guys before, if we need more air to flow through, like firing it up, that's why we put our neck above the tank here. And we just pop open this cat, and it'll be good to go. All right, so one of the things we learned while we were building this is that they're actually on the inside, when they do these smudge pots, they have like a little pipe here that kind of helps reroute everything back into your secondary burn pipe and route it back down, but you just need something to cup. So we made a mistake. When we tacked the chute in here, the chimney, the whatever you want to call it, the stack, I was tacking it in, and I was like, man, I remember there's a reason why I didn't want to tack it in, and that's because I wanted to be able to put this in on the inside and then tack it. Now that I got that on there, it's too long for me to go from the top. The whole idea is for me to go from the bottom. So now we got to get a little bit more creative, and we got to cut that hole out, which we got our biggest bit that we have. And then, yeah, we got to get that to slide in there. So either we got to go buy a bigger hole saw bit, or we got to make something work for us. So first of all, we're going to get the hole drilled with the bit that we have, and then we're going to go from there. Yeah, that's what I was, like, hoping it didn't happen. All right, so we got our hole. So now we got to figure out what we're going to do as far as this guy. Oh man, we actually squeezed it too much. Okay, we could fix that. I wonder if I should just get it to go in more like that. Alright. And I should just clean the rest of that off. So I should just tack it in. Just like that. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Because actually it should sleeve right over this pipe. It won't even be a big deal. So I'm gonna try to see if I can expand this back out here. And then we should be good. And that'll be exactly kind of what we're looking for. I lied, guys. That is the money shot right there. That is exactly what we need. That's good enough in my book. Phew, buddy. Hey, you guys are gonna like this. So this is more. You look and see how far it goes in and how it tunnels down. That's exactly how we want it. That is perfect. Heck yeah. So that'll go right on just like that. So probably have to grind this a little bit, smooth it out, so this will fit on there good. But oh yeah. All right, just so you guys can see, we are drilling our second hole now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we bent our bit. That's not good. Oh no. I think we got one more of these just in case. Anybody wants to lend me their hole saw bits, I promise I'll take good care of them. Alright, let's see if we get a magnet and see if we get that other piece out. There she is. Yee! We got it. Well, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. We're totally winging this next part. So, to get our pipe on, we really need to cut out our little vents here on the side. And we hadn't really decided exactly perfectly how we're gonna do it, but we're just gonna do like little triangles up and then knock them in. So I just drew some lines, and we're gonna try to get pretty close to zip them with the wheel, and we're gonna see what happens. Kind of a no bueno situation if we mess this up, considering this is our main tube here. In my opinion, I don't think it has to be perfect for it to look good. And if you know anything about old Full Speed Impulse here, we don't always do stuff perfect, but I tell you what, somehow every time it comes out looking pretty darn good, and that is not too shabby. And if we want to be technical, we could tap this in a little bit more and really clean up these edges and get something a little bit better, but that don't look bad. That does not look bad at all. And here, I'm going to show you guys the reason why I didn't focus on perfection. Because once this bad boy's up right here, she already, that looks good. See? See how it lines up to where that's open, that's not cut out, and they run on the side here. That's pretty badass. So let's get this thing welded up. Shoo, buddy. Shaking. Too much welding. So, only thing we're a little disappointed about, I'm going to just point it out, beat myself up, but this gap here is not perfect. But we're fighting with the angle on the bottom of the pipe a little bit. After we got holes drilled, we kind of put ourselves in a position, and that's what we had to deal with. But still, not too shabby. So got a lot more to go, but I tell you what, we're probably only a couple weeks out from lighting this bad boy up. All right, guys, so we're on to our next step here, and we had to go to our buddy's house. They actually had a torch to get this hot enough. The old MAP gas torch wasn't doing it, so we had to go get the big guns out, and we're able to get that bent up. And so now we are using our little tool here to mark our center spot, just like that, and it leaves a little dimple in there. And that one was not centered, but something like that. That's a little bit better. So as long as they're pretty close. So anyways, we're gonna get these holes drilled out here, and then we'll be able to mock this back on here, and then this will be our handle. So we gotta clean it up a little bit, and then she'll be good to go. So let's get these holes drilled out, and then we'll move on to the next step. Smudge Pot's coming along pretty good. Got our old vent here. Now all we gotta do is put some breathers here on the side so the heat can come out, just like these here. And then I don't know if I want to do a couple slots upward or not, but she's almost ready to get lit. Plus we got all our welding to finish. We just got this pretty much tacked on, but other than that, she's about ready. All right, before I go to bed, last thoughts. I'm telling you, this thing is not even that heavy, but just awkward to carry. If put like heavy duty wheels on the side, like I don't know how, like cast iron wheels or something like that, like industrial wheels, and welded them to the side, 2 of them, and then just put a little handle right here, or even on the back side if you didn't want to look at it. But you could just lean this sucker back and you could roll this thing wherever you wanted. And it wouldn't have to be a clean roll. Chances are it would just probably slide on them for the most part. But it would not be bad. Because this thing, I picked it up and put it on the table. It's not a bad lift. It's just a little, like I said, awkward. Past that, there she is. It's got to clean up the welds on the bottom, which honestly, I probably don't even have to do that to fire it up. And then our welds a little bit here on the side, and then that little bit of leak we had on the bottom. So pretty much one more spot, one more, you know, phase of welding. She's done. Ready to light. All right, everyone, we've been working on this Smudge Pot non-stop, putting in the hours, and we finally, I think, got this thing done. We just kind of skipped ahead a little bit. It was mainly just finishing up welds. But obviously, as you guys seen, we got the handle all buttoned up. Got our pipe fully welded in now. The whole stack is welded. We were having issues with our welder. I don't know if we were just starting to get in a hurry. Definitely seems like we're starting to get low on our gas and all that. So maybe that could be a factor. We also did switch to a different brand of wire that we've never used. Maybe that's the thing. It was a lot cheaper. So I don't know. But either way, we got her pretty darn good. All right, but to go over the Smudge Pot one more time with you guys, we've learned a little things about these things. Is obviously this is where you're going to put your kerosene, your diesel, your motor oil, or maybe you do like a 50-50 blend. I've seen some guys that run like pure motor oil or like just with a little bit of diesel. But like I said, we're gonna venture closer to just diesel or kerosene. We'll see what it does. This here is supposed to be like a secondary burn pipe. And some guys use a complete U. We kind of just have a pipe dipping down just a little bit to kind of help get the cycle going and all that. These vents here, I thought originally were just for heat to come out, but it's actually supposed to help for the air to suck in and push the heat upward. So we did do this correctly as far as how we hammered them in from the top side instead of doing this reverse style like that. So this is the correct way. So we kind of got lucky on that. So our breather looks like it will be working pretty darn good. Like that looks like a pretty good setup. I think we're going to have a pretty good success. All right, guys, the last clip of the old Smudge Pot burning here. Figured we'd give you a nice little night shot. We wanted to see it too, but boy, this thing is ripping, glowing, looking good. We got her definitely wide open right now, but we'll seal her up, close her up a little bit, get a little bit more consistent heat out of it, but she is ripping. I mean, she is glowing red almost halfway up. That is crazy. So, all right, guys.